Hello, this short video will go through troubleshooting your Crystal Fire Plus Direct Spark Ignition or DSI burner system when the flame turns on but either cuts out right away or shuts off while in operation. This video assumes you have proper gas supply to your burner and your flame when lit is at normal height. For situations when you can ignite the flame but the flame goes out right away, it is important to understand the ignition sequence of the system. When the burner is turned on, the sparker will continue to spark for 12 seconds while it waits for gas to enter the burner and ignite. Once the burner ignites, the flame sensor recognizes the flame is present and sends a signal back to the module and valve that everything is functioning properly. In the event that the flame sensor does not detect the flame, the sparker will continue to spark for 12 seconds and automatically go into shutdown mode. You will have to turn the system off and then back on to reset the module. So in this scenario, it is important to figure out why the system did not sense the flame was present. Here are 3 things to look for. It is important to have the proper amount of media in the wind guard area. If not, it is common that the flame will not hit the sensor and ground properly and result in nuisance shutdowns. When using the standard glass gems, we suggest that 42 beads are used in this area. The media should be approximately 1 inch thick, which is just slightly higher than the metal fins that extend across the burner top as shown here. Secondly, inspect the flame sensor rod and ground rod. If these are not secure, they may need to be replaced. Order part number CF-DSI-electrode. When the flame is on, continuity runs through the actual flame, closing the circuit between the sensor and the ground rod and proving to the module and valve that the flame is present. Meaning, when the flame is present, it needs to hit both the sensor and ground rods. It is also possible to build up a film on the flame sensor and ground rods that can cause this continuity to fail and not properly sense the flame. Clean off the sensor and ground rods with an emery cloth. If you don't have an emery cloth, we found that a dollar bill has similar grit to wipe down these rods without causing any damage. Take care to not bend or twist these rods as you could damage the ceramic housing around these rods. Lastly, check for continuity of the sensor and ground circuit separately by doing this. Disconnect the sensor wire from the module and connect one probe of your multimeter to the wire connector and the other to the actual sensor rod as shown here. Do likewise with the ground circuit. Put one probe on the ground rod and simply touch the metal body of the valve with the other probe. If one of these circuits does not have continuity, you will need to try and re-clean the rods or replace the entire electrode. Order part number CF-DSI-electrode. Now let's look at the scenario where the flame stays on beyond the ignition cycle, but will eventually just shut itself off. In addition to validating the last 3 steps, also look for the following. If there is a consistent wind, it is possible to blow the flame away from the sensor and ground and cause a shutdown. In this scenario, if the wind blows the flame away from the sensor, the module will recognize the flame is gone and go back into startup mode. So you will actually see and hear the sparker attempting to light any gas flowing through the burner. If the flame then hits the sensor again, it will detect the flame and everything will keep running as normal. But if the flame is blown off the sensor for more than 12 continuous seconds, the unit will go into shutdown mode. Lastly, it is also possible that your unit is shutting off as a result of an inconsistent power supply. Your transformer needs to consistently put out 3.3 volts or higher. If not, order a new transformer. And that's it. For other helpful troubleshooting videos, click on the Product Support tab at OutdoorRooms.com. Thank you for assuring our products are installed and serviced in a safe and professional manner.